episode.
Welcome back to Literally Nothing Matters because literally nothing matters other than vacation.
I like
And
that.
it's
I like that
Friday.
attitude. And it's Friday. We always record on Friday and then things come out on Mondays. People are probably like, dumb them.
I know, right? We're like, it's the best day of the week. Happy Friday. And it's
Mhm.
really like, sorry, it's the worst day of the week, except for psychos like you who love Mondays.
Yes, psycho. So yeah, let's jump right in. We're going to talk a little bit today about where our favorite vacay spots are, some tips and tricks to make your vacations the best vacays that you can possibly have,
Mhm.
and our own experiences in planning and being little travel bugs.
Yeah. And it's so fitting because you are currently on vacation and I
Yes.
just wrapped up a quick mini long weekend vacay. That was not long enough, but
Yeah, it never is. It never
vacation
is.
girlies.
Vacation girlies. So yeah,
Love
let's
it.
start with our rose and thorn though.
All right.
You want to let the people know what's going on in your life?
Sure. I'm feeling good. I feel like I've
Ooh.
had a good couple of weeks. Obviously, taking a few days off always helps.
Yeah.
Um, But today is my day off, and I treated myself to a Hydra facial,
Ooh, that
like a
sounds
bougie ass
glamorous.
bitch,
Yeah,
which
I
is why
like
I'm
it.
like shiny right now. But
Yeah, pink angel.
it was amazing. Like
Mm.
it was good shit. So highly
Okay, good to know.
recommend.
Okay.
Also the best part was that like a lot of it is like they use these little like machine like sucky things, so they like exfoliate with it first and then they do like extractions with it, and then
Mm.
at the end there's like a jar where it all collects and you can see all the shit that they pulled out of your
Ooh.
face.
That's like pimple popper, like Dr. Pimple
Exactly.
Pop. It's like addicting. It's weird.
Yeah, me and the esthetician were bonding over our love for pimple popping videos. So
It's pretty gross. Not gonna judge you or anything, but I'm
oh,
going
it's disgusting. You can fully judge, it's okay.
Oh my
um
gosh, that sounds lovely though.
So I would say that's my rose. I feel like being in a better headspace than I've been in the last like 6 months, I would say, and
Nice.
trying to treat myself and take it day by day. But yeah,
I like it.
how about you?
My rose is that I feel like I've been simplifying in my life a lot lately. For example, we are moving around our house just because we have this one room that isn't necessarily a bedroom, but it probably could be. Anyways, our closets are kind of weird, and so I've been using the spare room as my closet, and
Mhm.
I actually have a closet in our bedroom, but it's just really small. And I've just been hating having to go to this bedroom and get my clothes out, and it just feels separated. I have some clothes in my room, some clothes in this room, and it's just annoying.
Yeah,
And so one day I was like, why do I have all of these clothes? I literally never wear them. Some of them are
no,
from college or longer than that. I don't need any of this stuff. So every morning I've been getting ready and I've tried something on that I haven't worn for a long time. And if I don't feel comfortable in it, or if I haven't worn it in more than a year, I've just been getting rid of it. And I'm getting rid of
yes,
so many clothes. And
feels
it's
so
actually
good.
making me feel so good. Yeah. I'm like, I don't need this. I want maybe like outfits that I can rotate through and kind of have neutral pieces where I can
A
pull from, and
capsule wardrobe,
a
if you
capsule
will.
wardrobe, if I will.
Yeah,
And
same.
I'm just really seeking out minimalist items these days. And I feel like there's this kind of thought that like you have to have more. And as a girl, you want this big closet and all these shoes and all these, things and outfits. And that's just been like confusing me. So I've just been feeling really good getting rid of stuff, purging stuff. I've also been going outside a bunch, so that's been super, super
Love
healing.
that.
Being obviously up in New Hampshire, like you mentioned, I'm on vacation right now, and I've just been noticing how much kind of noise pollution I'm around. And I mention this frequently, but just being out in nature is so healing. So I've been
Mm,
loving that. And I think just really like getting down to the roots of what we need in our lives instead of this maximalist idea, just kind of
mm.
like what actually makes you happy behind um like pull for dopamine, the dopamine rush when
Yes.
you like buy stuff or go and do these luxurious things. I'm just kind of living in the minimalist era right now.
I love that. Honestly, nothing feels better. And I feel like we are in such a like capitalism society that capitalist society is
Mm.
what that would be.
Yeah.
That just like convinces us that like we have all these problems that are solved by buying more stuff. Like even if you look at like how TikTok is, like so much of it is like Amazon influencers and telling you like
Yes.
you need this gadget because it's going to change your life and make your life so much better, and like it never does. You get like
Yeah.
that, yeah, like you said, a quick dopamine hit when you buy it, and then it's like more crap in your house. It's just cluttering up your
Yes.
life.
Yeah. So I've been focusing a lot on that. And even with
Love
Annie,
that.
when we came on vacation, I just brought a couple toys for her because she doesn't even want that stuff, and I
Yeah.
don't want her to be a kid that needs to get something new every time we go somewhere or
Yeah.
has all these plastic toys everywhere. It's just she doesn't need it.
Yeah. Yeah. Love
So
that.
what's your thorn? What's biting you in the bum these days?
My thorn is just the basic struggle of having to work for a living. I
Oh,
would say after
I
being
gave
on
that up.
yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how I'm surviving, but somehow I am.
Yeah, absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Not really, but Um no, I just feel like after being on vacation and then coming back, I'm like, I'm just ready for retirement.
Yeah, so
But
hard.
I'm not gonna like get it into all the details yet because the details are not finalized. But
Ooh,
to
teaser.
turn around secret project, no, turning around the thorn, I am taking the bull by the horns of my burnout and my struggles with my mental health from the last 6 months, and I'm reducing my hours to part-time at my personal training job so I can focus on other things that I feel more drawn to right now. And like instantly, I feel so much of a relief. So
Yay,
that's
I'm
good
so
stuff.
happy for you.
And I'm like
Good.
privileged to be able to do that because not
Mhm.
everyone is in that scenario. Like I'm on Mark's health insurance, so I don't need to get my health insurance from there and that kind of stuff. But yeah,
Totally. Yay, can't wait to see where it goes.
yeah, a thorn turned into a rose.
Look at
So
you.
positive. Who
Such a
am I?
positive Polly today. Yeah, who are
I
you?
don't know. Give it like a couple hours. How about you?
Well, my thorn is kind of the opposite of my rose, so the opposite of what you were saying. So on this journey of trying to become more minimalism, I
Mhm.
have been kind of pondering this identity crisis, if you will. And I think going into motherhood, your whole identity shifts. And it's funny because even a year later, I'm trying to figure out who I really am. And I think maybe it's just a lifetime journey, to be honest with you. But
Mhm.
I was listening to this podcast the other day, and someone asked, the same question that they've been thinking. And it was, who am I if I'm myself? And so taking away
Mhm.
all of the influences, all of what society tells you to look like and think like and do. And so I'm starting very basic where just looking at the clothes that I'm wearing, what do I want to wear instead of what is trendy or what makes my body look a certain way or shape. And it's honestly kind of tripping me up because I think deep down I'm more of just like a get up and go type of person. Like I don't
Yeah.
enjoy putting on makeup. I don't enjoy doing my hair, but I do enjoy the way I look if I do my hair, but I
Mhm.
can't stand that process. And so I'm just like coming up to these little forks in the road kind of which direction do I want to go, because in one sense I don't want to get ready, but I feel better when I am ready.
It's like
In one
finding
sense,
that 5 minute routine.
yeah, in one sense I don't want to plan my outfit, but in the other sense when I go out in public and I have something that actually looks a little bit together, I feel a little bit more ready for the day.
Yeah.
So I just feel like I want both worlds, and I gotta pinpoint it.
I feel
So
ya.
that's been one challenge that I've been working with. And I think I mentioned this last time we talked a couple of weeks ago, but I've been coming back to the idea of alcohol in my life. And I went on kind of like a not a bender, but like I was drinking like a glass or two of wine every night. And it was just,
Mhm.
summer and everything. And we had mentioned it. And I was realizing like it was just what I was looking forward to in the day. And I was getting kind of like, ew, I don't like that. And I was thinking, why am I wanting and like craving this substance? And I really think it's because when you're wanting a substance, you're really just wanting your life to be a little different, right? You're like
Mhm.
craving to drink or you're craving to like smoke pot or do whatever because you want something in your life to be different. Whether
Yeah, or
that's you
to
want it to
numb
be
out a little too.
you want
Like
to
I feel
numb
like
out, or you want a more adventure, you want to be a little like more loose so that you can have more fun or like dare yourself to do something. And so I've just been kind of playing with that idea of like taking alcohol completely out and then asking myself like, why am I not enjoying this moment without alcohol? Like
Mhm.
even on vacation, I haven't drank and I'm sitting at the river and I'm like, oh, I just wish I could have like a couple beers right now because I would be more relaxed and I would be like probably be more daring to float down the river or something stupid like that. And I'm like, could I do that without alcohol? Could I take a deep breath and relax or could I go down the river and be a little scared? And so just really diving into those uncomfortable questions that keep coming back. But it's uncomfortable. Alcohol is just one of those funny things of
Yeah.
you have to just kind of like really focus on it when you're kind of relying on it.
Yeah.
So,
And I think, I mean, it's like what we've talked about before, like always, kind of circling back and evaluating your relationship with alcohol. Like, okay, am I turning to it more than I have been before? Or like, am I feeling negative about my relationship with alcohol right now and everything?
yeah.
Yeah, I feel yeah.
So,
It's a tricky one.
yeah. And I think just being honest and like open about it, because I don't think many people are.
No, like not at
So,
all. Honestly, even like I wouldn't say overthink it, but I am in a place where I really take it into consideration, like when I am drinking for the most part. Like even tomorrow, we're going out on the boat with Cassie and Mike,
mm,
and I'm so freaking excited. But I think
yeah.
back to like when I used to go out with them, like not the two of them specifically, just like in general, in scenarios like that, I would like really drink so much,
Right.
like nothing to do with them. That was just like my pattern.
Yeah.
And I would have so much fun, but then it would kind of reach the point where it would like get past that threshold of fun and just like be a drunk slob kebab by the end of the day.
Hmm.
I'm like totally not even present in this moment. I don't remember half of the stuff. Like
Yeah.
anxiety about it after and all of that. So
Yes.
I was like trying to like really think about it today. Like, okay, well, how do I want to go into this situation living the way that I live now, where I don't
Yeah.
really drink much? And so I bought myself a bunch of like regular seltzers. And then a couple of these like wine drinks that I really like. And I'm like,
Mm,
I'll have a couple if I want them, but I'm not going to bring a full cooler of a bunch of shit.
yep.
And like, I feel comfortable enough just like drinking seltzer water and
Yeah.
not needing an excuse as to why I'm doing that.
I know.
I'm
There always has to be an excuse. And I wonder if it's like
Yeah.
because our age, if people are just like expecting you're not
I think
drinking
it's
because
at
of a
all
reason.
ages,
You think so? Probably.
unfortunately. I think our culture in general is just so reliant on and like centered around alcohol that like
Yeah.
I feel like even me and Mark's mom were talking about this on when we were just down the Cape on vacation. Like, it's like I go to a family party or I go out to dinner with a friend and I don't want to get a glass of wine and people like shame me for it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, great. So it doesn't end. It doesn't get
Right.
better. Great.
Doesn't get better. Yeah.
But
All
yeah,
right. Well, something to always talk about.
we could do like multiple episodes just
I
on that.
know.
So
I know.
we will circle back. But
All right, let's jump into our topic of today, vacations. So we had mentioned
yes.
that we are going to kind of go over how we plan vacations, maybe a couple tips and tricks that we've learned up our sleeves. And I think you should start because you kind of have a good experience working for like Cape Air and going on all these
Oh.
vacays. So give us the goods. I'll
Yes.
jump in after you.
Well, we've definitely talked a little bit about traveling by yourself and like some of those tips. So I won't really get into that in terms of my experience with working for an airline. But I wanted to talk about tips on like booking flights because there's so many things of like, you should only book on Tuesdays and that's the
Mm,
cheapest time to buy. And like, that's not, there might be like some truth to it, but like, honestly, these days, there's not a ton of truth to that. Um, and because like the airlines kind of will like monitor like how full some flights are and all of that.
right.
Um, but
They're
I,
smarter than us.
yeah, like they have it all figured out.
Yeah.
But a big mistake that people do often is purchasing their flights way too far in advance and really overpaying, or purchasing them like super last minute and overpaying, which
Hmm.
I normally fall in that second category because I am a procrastinator. But if you were going to do it correctly, it would be so for domestic flights, I was like also looking up other recommendations too to see if this like really held true. And I highly recommend people looking at the points guy. He's like a big travel, like, I guess influencer, but he really has like a full company now. So I think we'll both have it on to like talk about like travel credit cards and like that kind of stuff. But
Hmm.
he also has a lot of really good tips. So he was saying this, a lot of the same stuff that I learned when I worked at Cape Air, which is for domestic trips, start looking at prices 3 to 4 months in advance, but don't book until like 1 to 2 months in advance, and just monitor like how the prices change day to day. You could also do set like a Google alert for your flights, which is helpful, except for summer travel, because that obviously is pricier. So if you're traveling in the summer, to book 3 to 4 months in advance. And then for international trips, starting to monitor 6 to 7 months in advance, and then booking 3 to 5 months in advance. So maybe not quite as far in advance as you normally would. Um, and then also another tip is to clear your like cache or cookies or what the fuck ever it is. Sorry, Debbie. Oh no, I forgot about my pact.
New challenge.
I failed. Um, but to clear your cache or cookies or whatever after you look at flights, because the airlines will also like note when you're returning to the website to search for flights, and they'll bump up those prices, which is crap, but it
Yeah,
is
that should
what
be
it
illegal,
is.
but
It should be illegal, but like capitalism.
mm,
um so yeah, and then definitely, yeah, check out the points guy, especially if you're looking to get a travel credit card, because he really lays out like the best ones for different needs depending on like what you're going to really use it for. I have the Chase Sapphire Reserve and I really like it. Like they give you a lot of like travel credits, 3 times points on travel, and they have like a lot of good deals, and
yeah,
I've been able to like book full trips just on points using
yeah.
that. Hopefully we'll be doing that for the honeymoon. Fingers crossed, because there's no money left. But yeah, which one do you have? I know you wanted
So
to
for
talk about it.
credit cards, I have the JetBlue credit card
Yep.
and I actually really like it. I pay it off at the end of the month because I obviously the interest rates are high. I think that it's pretty across the board. Interest rates are high on all credit cards. You're just gonna
Yeah,
get that. I feel like
totally.
just
Just be
pay off your
smart about it,
balance
you
if you
know?
can. Yep. I do really like them. The same type of thing. It's like 3 times on the flights, yada yada yada. I go in not international, domestic flights all the time just for free because I rack up all these
That's
points.
amazing.
And they're pretty fair when you're flying JetBlue with the credit card, especially. I feel like if you're flying kind of like on the same coast as you live, it's pretty I've never paid too much for it or used too many points. So I do really like them.
Yeah, JetBlue's
Another
one of my favorites too.
Yeah, I like flying JetBlue. If I'm
Me
going to
too.
fly, they're my favorite to fly. I don't know if everyone feels this way, but I don't mind American Airlines. But those are
They're
kind of the
owned by the
two.
same now.
Oh, are they? I didn't even know
Yeah,
that. Yeah, those are kind of my two that I like really will fly kind of like I don't really like any of the other airlines.
I know.
I refuse to pay like less and then fly super uncomfortable. I feel like that's
Yeah,
absolutely miserable. I'm too old for that.
I
Um,
know.
but another kind of tip from my perspective as a teacher, there's a website called ID Me, and you can get discounted
Oh,
rates if you're a student, a teacher, a first responder. if you're a military, if you are a nurse or a doctor. Um,
Should tell my
so
mom that.
yeah, you can sign right up and it's like 15% off of a lot of the hotels, car
Hmm,
rentals. Sometimes you can get flight discount. So definitely check that out if you can. It is kind of a pain to sign up for it. You need your ID for it, but once you do it, you can kind of do it all the time.
sounds worth
So
it.
check out there. Another cool tip as being a teacher is you can use something called a government badge. So as a teacher, you get kind of like a badge when you are working in a school. And when you call a hotel, say, can I have the government rate? And they will never, ever, ever check your actual badge, but technically you're a government employee, which is kind of bizarre. And you
Oh, makes
usually get
sense.
astronomical discounts. Like for my wedding 7 years ago, I booked a huge suite and everything. And I think I got 50% off the entire thing.
I
I
need to
mean,
tell my mom
it's,
about this.
yeah, things that people don't know. And I'm sure that you could actually use government badge if you were working
In the
in any realm
military or
of,
something.
yeah, things like
A
that. So just like
postal worker. All of our
exactly.
postal worker girlies listening, you're a government
Yeah.
agent.
um, it might even be worth it just to see what the government rate is, even if you don't have a badge, because like I said, I've never been checked. Don't tell
Yeah.
anyone, but it is a pretty big hefty discount. So
Caitlin
check
with the
that out.
tips.
I know all these tips. You know what I mean, Jelly
Love
Beans?
it. You know what I mean?
Um,
Um,
yeah.
I also
Mm.
wanted to say, in terms of tips, travel no-nos.
Ooh.
Important things that I hope that everyone listening abides by as regular, sane, mentally, socially aware human beings.
Not us.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
Don't take your shoes and your socks off on an airplane.
Mm-mm.
Hang out in your socks if your feet don't smell.
What do you mean hang out in your socks? Just no, do not take your shoes off. That's weird.
I mean,
You have room to take your shoes off?
I can forgive
Okay,
people
but I
that,
can't forget.
but I cannot forget people that walk around barefoot like
Nasty.
animals.
Yeah.
Disgusting. They
Gross.
also sell actually on my flight back from Cassie's bachelorette. I was just like so tired, so done, so like not ready to be on a
Depleted.
plane. I bought everything to make my trip more comfortable. I bought a
Ooh.
travel pillow, which now grosses me out because it's been on so many flights. I'm like,
Yeah.
this thing is disgusting. I can never actually let it touch my face again. And I bought travel socks. They're basically like
What?
fuzzy slippers with like grippies on the bottom.
That's hysterical.
I've
My
never
niece tries
worn
a
them
bunch of
since.
fuzzy socks. That's
But for a
hysterical.
long flight, great idea.
I love it.
Also, when you're
Mm.
boarding a plane, do not, you're group F. Don't you
Oh,
stand up when it's group A and crowd
so
around.
annoying. Yeah. Like you're gonna
Do
get on the
not,
plane.
right.
Chill.
We're all getting on the same, like, going to the same place. Get a
Yeah.
grip. Sit
Like, why are
down.
you in a rush to get crowded on the plane? That's my thing. Like, you sit in this little seat.
Right.
Why are we in a rush to get on? Just chill.
Rest your legs for a
Yeah.
second.
Mm-hmm.
Deboarding the plane. This is the biggest one.
Oh,
Sit when you're in the back of the flight, sit the fuck down.
yes. I can't stand. You're like not even landed, and people are like,
They're
and
up
then
with
you
their bag
stand. Yeah, and they're all like crouched
on your
over.
ass.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to like seriously not like yell at someone, but like be kind of a bitch to someone on I think my flight back from Chicago recently because I had to turn around to get my suitcase, but the guy behind me was literally like on my back.
Oh, gross.
And I was like, "Can you give me some space, please? Like,
Yeah, that's
what?
so rude.
We're all waiting.
Yeah,
What are
rude.
you doing?
What are
Can't
you
stand it."
doing? Yeah.
Big tip though, I like to try, which has failed me actually the last like 3 flights I've been on because then they've changed my seat at the last minute, which I don't appreciate. Um, but trying to book a seat that's farther up,
Yeah.
like in one of like the first few aisles if you can,
Yeah.
because then you don't have to wait with all the crazies
Yeah. Totally
when
agree.
you're
But it's
getting
usually more
off.
expensive if you do that.
Well, I won't do like the
You won't pay for it.
yeah, like the just like aisle like 10
Yeah.
instead of
Gotcha.
like 40.
Not the first class. Business
I
cabin.
wish one
Yeah,
day
one day.
manifesting it.
We're
One day
getting
we'll be
there.
chilling in first class, but for
We're getting
now, not even paying for the extra leg room. So,
there. I love it. Um,
any travel no-nos for you?
Travel no-nos. I think I would agree to those. I will say as being kind of like a smaller person, I feel like people next to me take advantage of that and kind of
Mm,
like get into my section, which is kind of annoying. So I would say regardless of the size of the human you're next to, stay in your own lane, you know?
stay in your own lane,
Um,
guard your
Big,
armrest.
medium, small, you paid for your section, try to stay in your section. Like I
Yeah.
get if there is like a like even for example, my husband is a large male next to me, and we'll talk, you know. Oh, you can have a little bit of space. You can have this hand rest, you know, but like acknowledge it, you know, talk
Yeah.
about it. If you need a little space and I can
I
give you
love you.
something, communicate. Don't just take, okay?
Mm.
That would be my only concern, I would say. But I did want to kind of mention the change in going from a vacation when you are a solo
Ooh.
female and going on a trip when you are a mama bear. Because if you go on
Mm.
a vacation with a baby, it is not a vacation, it is a trip. You are on a trip.
You're just parenting elsewhere.
Yep. And so I will say that could be an entire episode as well, but flying with a baby, I think it depends on who your baby is. Annie loves to be held, so we don't usually get her own seat. I just hold her. And we did go on a 6-hour flight with her to Arizona. And I was so worried about it, but she honestly just like sat on the boob the whole time, which was a miracle. So if you're into nursing, that's a great remedy
Yeah.
for flights.
Great
Um,
tip.
and I just got kind of like a little cover and just like put her on the boob and she kind of fell asleep and she'd wake up, but she was great. We did a lot of people say to wear a carrier with your baby, and that didn't really work for us. We just held her, it was just easier. But we got a travel stroller, which some people don't have, and I would actually highly recommend. We keep it in my car all the time, and this is apart from my big stroller, and it's 17 pounds. It can get stowed away. It can be a carry-on if you want it to be.
Oh,
But it also can get checked for free at when you board.
nice.
Um, and you can also check your car seat for free. So that's always
I
nice
didn't
to
know that
know.
that was free. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
As
been
it
nice.
should be.
As it should be. Yeah, none of the other items are like the actually, you know what? I think you have to pay for one. I think you get one for free and one you have to pay for, but it's like 30 bucks or something. Highly recommend.
These mamas out here just
I
trying to deal
know.
with it all.
I know. But yeah, definitely traveling with a baby is different. It's so funny because even on the vacation this time, we're like, usually when we go to New Hampshire, we do crazy hikes and we bike and we swim and we do all these things. And I feel like Chad and I are just so bored because we're kind of locked in our room from a certain amount of
Yeah.
time because she naps for a certain amount of time and she goes to bed early, obviously. So it's just a totally different thing. We
Different
had to
vibe.
actually upgrade because we have a timeshare here and we met with a guy and we're like, we need a bigger place because we're just stuck in one room and we're losing our sanity.
Yes.
So different,
Do you have the
different
dogs with you?
strokes. We don't have the dogs. No, they don't allow
Yeah.
dogs here.
Oh,
So
got it.
it's actually crazy though how much I love the dogs and I will never not have dogs.
Yeah.
But dogs are a lot of work. Like
They're so
not being
much
around
work.
dogs, I'm like, wow, I have so much time to frolic and scroll through Instagram and like do all these
Yeah.
things. And like, what's different? I'm here with the baby, you know, but I think it's honestly the dogs. I don't have to walk the dogs
It's
and
one
feed
less
them and
thing.
clean up the
Yeah.
poop and all the things.
More
But I do
creatures
love the boys.
relying
I
on
miss
you to stay
them.
alive.
I know, all of them. All
Um,
right.
well, we were
All
going to
right.
talk a little bit about some of our favorite destinations, some hidden
Mm,
gems.
love it.
I have a few that are more like local because we're really lucky for all the New England listeners. Like, we are so lucky at the options that we have available to us that are just driving distance. So I feel like I wanted to shout out a few of our
Shout
favorites.
them out.
But I also wanted to say, because I had a hard time thinking about the hidden gems of the places that we've been, because the way that Mark and I normally do it, which I really like to do, is like I'll, kind of crowdsource recommendations, like just posting it on an Instagram story. And like people freaking love to give recommendations. So
Oh
that
yeah.
is like such an easy way of doing it.
Yeah.
And like writing those down, maybe looking some up on like Instagram to see if the food looks good or, what the vibe is, that kind of thing.
Right.
Maybe make a couple reservations, have an idea of the things that like we definitely want to do, but then really just like play it by ear and explore. Like I feel like our favorite way of actually getting really good recommendations, because a lot of time when you like just Google like best restaurants to go in Boston, it's like all of the tourist traps that like
Oh
aren't
yeah.
necessarily bad, but you're not really seeing what the city has to offer. So like we'll go to like super local looking like bar or restaurant, sit at the bar and try to like make conversation with the bartender. And I feel like we've had really good luck with them being like, oh, awesome, you're here for the weekend. Like you definitely have to hit up all these spots. And then like they're always really good, like local spots.
Yeah.
So that's a way that I like to do it.
Yeah, no,
But
I agree. We always have kind of like a loose itinerary, like
yeah.
things that we really want to do. We make a list of
Yeah.
to-do items and then we try to check like one off a day.
Yeah.
For example, we're in New Hampshire. Um we wanted to like go to the shopping outlet. So like
Yeah.
one day we did that. One of the days we wanted to go on a little hike. One of the days we went to a lake. So it's just like checking off those items
Yeah.
based off the weather, based off how we're feeling, and just kind of doing that. But I totally agree to ask kind of the locals where they eat. We all the time ask housekeeping where they like to go for restaurants, and
Oh,
I feel
I
like
love
they have a
that.
really good tips because I feel like sometimes if you ask the hotel or the management or anything, they give the exact same
Yeah.
as Google would give you.
Yeah.
Um, and we
Gotta
also
talk to the
love
locals.
that's how the locals. We also love to pack our own food because eating out 3 meals a day is can be really gross on your system.
Yeah.
And we used to love that because we're foodies. So we would literally have like list of meals and restaurants that we would have to go to, and we would purge and we would make ourselves eat 3 meals a day at all of these different
Yes.
restaurants and pretend like both of us would love them. And then we realized one day we were like, yeah, this is disgusting. Why are we doing this to ourselves? So
Right.
now we kind of change it to like one restaurant a day, and then we'll do like leftovers for one meal and we'll cook
Mm-hmm.
the other meal. So we definitely have gone more into bringing our own food if we can.
Yeah. I like to do that if we're like in like an Airbnb or something like
Yep.
that, where like it's easy to just like make breakfast, maybe get a coffee from like a local coffee shop. So
Yep.
you're experiencing local things, but
Yes.
yeah, not like breaking the bank and also feeling like absolute garbage when you go back home.
Totally. Yeah.
A
Yeah.
100%.
All right.
Well, what are some of your faves?
Ooh, we're going into destinations.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So I wanted to keep it simple. I did my top 3 destinations and I started with kind of the most like affordable, manageable to do, especially if you live in New England, and then more into like the bougie realm of things.
Mm,
And I can kind of drop a couple more as you talk too, because I feel like we probably have similar ones. So, and these are kind of on the more of the hidden gem situations. I was even like Googling like special places to visit, and everything's kind of known unless it's a really small town.
yeah.
I feel like everything, it might not be super commercialized, but I was trying to think of places that I've been that aren't huge destinations.
Hmm.
So the first one I wanted to mention was where I'm at right now. I'm
Yeah.
in the White Mountains in New Hampshire, and we have a timeshare, like I said, at Attitash Mountain Village. And we thought we got guilted into it, to be honest with you. We had the whole like, we got a free weekend one time and we had to listen to this guy's speech, whatever. And we ended up getting guilted into it and ended up buying this timeshare. And we were like, what are we doing? Even like after we paid for it, we were like, what the hell are we doing? We ended up loving it. We've
Yeah.
had it now for 5 years. It's like one whole week a year that both of us have to completely disconnect. Chad has to take off work, and
Hmm.
it's just easy. Everything is on site, and Chad and I are big outdoor people, so there's a ton of hiking areas, there's a ton of swim locations, a lot of local like good restaurants, things like that. The people are good, everyone's down to earth. And so we love to come here. There's also like the Saco River that's right behind where we stay, so there's just so much to do.
I love
Um,
that.
it's also a great place for kids, we've realizing, especially if your little babe loves to be outside like Annie Banani does. So it's just really versatile and just easy, like you
Yeah.
can drive here and it's not super expensive. So I've just been loving this place. So Attitash
I love
Mountain
that.
Village, North Conway area, check it out.
I love that. Yeah, and I feel like I was saying, we're just so lucky in New England. Like there's a lot of really cool cities, like, the ones that we all know about,
Mhm.
Newport and Portland and everything. But like there's also so many like cute little like lake towns in New Hampshire and mountains to go to, which actually are so fun to go to in the fall and the summer, not only in the
Yes.
winter if you like to ski.
Yep.
When I was working for Cape Air, I got to go up to Saranac Lake, New York, which is
Ooh.
definitely, you know, a far drive if you're going to drive, but Cape Air does fly there. Free ad.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like the most gorgeous low place in the world, going up to like the Adirondacks, up
So
in
cool.
Maine. You could go to like Booth Bay Harbor,
Yeah,
Bar
that's a good spot.
Harbor. Great little spots.
And I feel like they have good Airbnb places around there too.
Yeah. Like Mark and I have even been up to Portland in the winter.
Yeah,
And
me
it was
too.
like such a fun city to go to in the winter because like all there really is to do is just like eat a bunch of food.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
but it's like
The
cozy
brewery's fun
and
over there too.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Also for anyone that wants to explore Cape Cod, I never was a Cape girly before, but
Hmm.
since marrying into the Driscoll family, I now am a converted Cape girly.
Are
Still love
you?
my main beaches. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. That's what I grew up going to, but
Yeah.
um they have a cottage in Dennis, which is super cute. It's not on the ocean side, so no sharks. Love that.
That's what you
Um,
think. Keep telling
yeah.
yourself that, babe.
Well, I mean, like now probably there are sharks, um, but a lot of like really cute little restaurants in their downtown. It doesn't seem really like cheesy, touristy. Like it just seems like a cute little beachy town. There's this really cute place called Stewart Harbor that's like right at like a marina that has very like nothing fancy. It's like greasy breakfast food on paper plates, but it's like all picnic tables right along the water, and you can like watch the boats come in and out. And like we always go there on our like last day of vacation
Love that.
and watch the boats and soak up the last little bit of sun.
Yeah.
Love that.
Should we move outside of New England?
Let's do it. Let's get out of here.
All right, so that was kind of like my more manageable vacay. So now we're gonna go like middle ground. So I am in the phase of my life where like I'm not about to travel internationally. I'm kind of in the domestic realm, and my
A lot.
favorite
You're in your
place,
domestic era.
I'm domesticated, okay, babe? Um, no, my favorite place, super easy to fly to. It's right outside of Charleston. It's called Folly Beach, and I know that you were gonna mention it too. It's a beautiful little beach town. We got an Airbnb kind of right outside the island. You can walk over the bridge and it's right there. Everything is walking distance. It's super close to Charleston, which kind of equates to the cheaper flights and easier flights. It's just beach, easy living, everything super casual. There is a little bit of like a touristy shop kind of thing, but it's kind of fun too.
That's
It's like
fun though.
tacky and cute,
Yeah.
lots of outdoor dining. Um, you know, everyone is just kind of like letting their hair down and no makeup and just like beachy vibes. Whenever I go there, I'm like, I wish my hair was blonde and I was tan.
Right?
Like
You're like, come on.
everyone's surfing and just, chillaxing.
Yes.
No need for a car, and it just like is a really good downtown area.
Yeah, I
Highly recommend.
loved that place.
Yeah, and then if you want to go into the city, if you're a city person, unlike me, you can go right back into Charleston, and there's so much to do there too.
Yeah. It's so close to Charleston. And my little sister travel nurse down there, and Mark's best friend's brother lived down there for a little bit. And they both lived in the Folly Beach area. And so I was going to recommend that and Sullivan's Island. Similar
Mhm.
vibes, like super chill, cool little beach bars. And definitely like I like Charleston too, but if you are like going out to dinner or drinks or anything, Charleston is definitely more. I mean, there's a college right there, so it's definitely
Mhm.
more like college vibes, going out and all of
Yep.
that. If you are gonna go into Charleston for dinner though, definitely more of like a bougie recommendation.
Yes.
But if you're like a foodie and want to get some good food and ball out a little bit for a meal, I recommend Husk.
Hmm.
Very good. I went there for dinner, um, in their Savannah location, but I got brunch there when I was in Charleston for a bachelorette, and
Mm.
it was so good.
Ooh. If you're on Folly Beach, my recommendation for restaurants would be Jack of all trades. Their food is so good. It's kind of like very odd food. Like they throw different ingredients together and somehow it works. Chef's
Love that.
kiss.
There was also this really cute place right near the beach. I cannot for the life of me remember what it was. But they had like these like big bright pink like mean girl
Ooh.
like murals all over their walls. And
Wow.
their thing was like froze in different flavors and then like
Ooh.
really good sandwiches and like at the beach, after the beach, all I want is a good cold
Yeah.
sandwich. And it
Yeah.
was the cutest. They had like a little branded bright pink, like beach, like Jeep buggy kind of thing, like sitting
Cute.
out
I love
front.
that.
Highly recommend if you can find it.
Mm.
Good luck.
Okay, so going into the bougiest of my recommendations.
Mm.
So now we're going back to my travel days when I didn't have a little babe attached to my boob 24/7. So one, I went to Greece for my honeymoon, and the lesser known area that I went to, which I would recommend the most out of all of the places I went to in Greece, is an island called Crete. It is the biggest island in Greece. Weird. Greece is made up of like thousands of islands. I don't know if people
Mhm.
know that. It's Greece. Everyone's like, is it what you would expect it to be? Yes, it is literally picture perfect. It is everything that you see online. It is incredible. Bucket list location to visit. But Crete really stuck out to us because it wasn't super touristy and there was just so much to do. The beaches were absolutely unreal. They were miles long. You could go to beaches that had like bougie restaurants on it and bars. And at that time of our lives, we were like doing that thing. But there were also really lesser known beaches that no one was at. Black sand, pink sand. I mean, all of the above. You could snorkel. There was just so much to do. We would rent buggies. The food was incredible, incredible
Mm.
Mediterranean food.
I'm so jealous. I'm
So
hungry.
I know now I'm like, should we go back?
Yeah.
Just incredible views, all of the cliffs that you think of in Greece. We would rent a car and like go through mountains, everything that you expect just coming to life. It's like a dream come true. So highly recommend Crete in Greece.
So jealous. That's definitely on my bucket list. I have not done a lot of international travel. Like, truly, I went to Florence when I studied abroad, which I highly, highly, highly recommend.
Okay.
Obviously, Florence is like a known destination, it's not a hidden gem, but from there are so many cool little towns around it. Like, my parents and, one of my other really good friends both stayed at these different like farm inn type of things in Tuscany, like really pretty close to Florence, that were very like farm to table. You're kind of more in like a local scene. But I also, when I was there, did like the Italian beach tour. Like, every weekend, me and my classmates would like take a train and to a different little like beach town. And so I highly recommend doing some of that stuff.
Okay.
We also did a weekend in Croatia, which was like
Ooh.
unreal. Like, all of the people there, I don't know what the hell is in their water, but like they are all so model-esque and like
Mm.
tall and tan and beautiful and like the
Just like
surroundings are all
you.
gorgeous, just like me. No, really, they're like walking by and I'm like hiding down, like, don't step on the
They
small
can't
ugly
even see you.
people, the small ugly Americans. That was amazing. And then we're trying to figure out what we want to do for our honeymoon. So
Ooh.
we haven't decided yet, but we were talking to um a friend of a friend who's from, I want to say she's from like Germany or Austria or something. And she was recommending that we look into South Africa, which
Oh,
seems
yeah.
kind of like a random destination, but she said, she was like showing us all these pictures and it looked absolutely gorgeous. She said it's so much cheaper than you expect it to be. So we're going to look into that. So I'll keep
That's
you
amazing.
abreast on
That's
that.
what Chad and I actually talked about that the other day. We were like, when Annie graduates from, or when our youngest kid graduates from high school, we're booking ourselves an Africa trip and we are darting around the continent.
Yeah. I know, but that's the thing. It's just like it's so gigantic. It's
Yeah.
like, can I have a month
Yeah.
long
You need like a whole
honeymoon
summer
so I
or,
can do a few different things
yeah,
there? That would
I
be
know.
awesome.
It's so true.
Any other non
No, I think when you were talking
close?
about international or Florence in particular, I was curious as to how the people were because when we went to Milan, the people couldn't stand us being
Mm.
American. So was it the same in Florence or was it different?
No, it was fine. I mean,
Okay.
I was there for like 2 months, and I feel like, yeah, people aren't like the most welcoming, wanting everyone to be here. But a lot of people that I did like run into, I feel like if you kind of try to learn the basic words of their language and like
Yeah.
aren't a jerk about it, people are excited to like give you good food and, give you good recs. And like, I feel like their culture is very like feed everyone and like take care of
Yeah.
people. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe if I went to the right places, but
You were just nicer than me, okay? Just say it. You're
I
just a
mean,
better
I definitely have
person
some
than
resting
me.
bitch face. So,
Oh my God, stop. No.
um, I also am not a huge, I mean, not that I'm not, because like, don't get me wrong, I love a good beach. But I haven't done a ton of like just beach vacations like at a resort. And I don't know if that's like truly my vibe, because I like a mix of being able to like adventure and relax.
Totally.
Um, but we went to San Juan, Puerto Rico for a
Ooh,
wedding in November, and I really, really highly recommend traveling there. It's such a fast, easy flight from Boston. There's direct, I think like JetBlue, a few other airlines have direct flights right there. It's just a couple hours. Um, and it's such a cool little mix of things. Like we stayed at a resort, so we got that like, resort, pool, beach thing. But there's also Old San Juan, which was only like a mile away from where we were staying. That just is, the old town, very cool stuff to look at and explore. There's a jungle or a rainforest you could go explore in, which
casual.
we weren't
Just gonna
able
go
to
to the
do.
jungle.
Yeah, just let's go to the jungle. Go to a rainforest.
Yes.
Really cool, like local places. And yeah, highly
I love
recommend.
it.
It was great. If we had more
Yeah.
time, I would have liked to bop around to some of the other islands around it. But if you
Mhm.
just have time for a long weekend, there's plenty of stuff to do in San Juan.
I love it.
Yeah.
So those are our vacay destinations and kind
Ooh,
of hidden gems from our experience. Yeah, I think that's all I have actually. What about you?
that's pretty much all I got.
Cool. So this is your sign to go and book yourself a vacay. You freaking
Yeah.
deserve it. Do whatever's going to make you feel good at the end of the day. If you like to hike mountains, go and hike a mountain. If you like to go to the desert, go to the desert. Do what feels good for you and
Yeah.
not like the trendy locations. That's my advice.
Yeah, 100%. Try something different. Ask around, like crowdsource even like, hey, where should I go on a vacation?
Mhm.
Because people love to give recs.
Totally.
So book that
All right,
trip, honey.
friends.
Life's too
Book
short.
it. Cool. Can't wait to hear where you guys go next, and we'll chat with you later.
Love you
Love you.
dearly.
Bye.
Bye.